Equivalent fractions using a number line. Equivalent fractions are fractions that have the same value but have different numerators and denominators. So we're going to use our number line today to kind of take a look at equivalent fractions. So when I look at my number line today, the first number line, all of my number lines are the same size, I want to point out, and they all have two parts, two whole parts of the number line. So fractions are based on a whole. So we have one whole number line from 0 to 1. So what we're going to do is figure out what fractions go on these number lines and then talk about the equivalency. So when I look at this first number line, I know that it's broken up into 1, and I'm talking about the parts, not the tick marks, 2 equal parts. So because of that, I know 2 parts. If I go one part of the way, then I know that I have 1/2. So then if I go 2 parts of the way, I know that I have 2/2 or 1. So I'm going to squeeze 2/2 in here. And then 3 parts away would be 3/2. And then 4 parts of the way would be 4/2 or 2. 3/2 could also be described as 1 and 1/2. Okay, so then when I'm looking at the next number line, I know it's broken up into 4 equal parts. From 0 to the first tick mark, 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts. Because there are 4 equal parts, I know that I have fourths. So I have 1/4. And by the way, 0/4 and 0 are the same thing. So I can say that I have 0/4 if I don't make any hops to the next one. So then we have 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, which is the same as 1 and the same as other things. 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, and 8/4. And then at the bottom, I'm looking at my number line and I have 1, 2, 3. So it's broken up into 3 parts. So I know that I have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, and 6/3. So now when I'm looking at this, my part is to look for fractions that are at the same point on the number line. So when I look at my first 2 number lines, I can see that 1/2 and 2/4 are at the same part of the number line, which is very much like when we showed the fraction parts. So when I look at these 2 fractions, because they are at the same point, that means they're the same distance from 0 and 1, these 2 fractions are equivalent. So I can say that 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. So looking at, I see other places. 3/2 is equivalent to 6/4. Now, I know that these are improper fractions, which means that I have more than one. So this is really 1/2, and this is 1 2/4. Okay, so these are equivalent fractions. When I look otherwhere on the line, I see 3 fractions that are all at the same place. So all of these fractions equal 1. So 2/2, 4/4, and 3/3 are all at the same place as 1. So I know they're all equivalent. So I can write many. I can say 1 is equal to 2/2. I could say 2/2 is equal to 3/3 because they are all at the same point. They're all at 1. And then when I look, I can also see that I have all of these fractions at 2, all at the same part. So 4/2 is equivalent to 8/4, which is equivalent to 6/3, and they're all equivalent to 2. So there are many you can write. And then you can kind of look at your number line and kind of compare other fractions, which is what we'll get into at another time. So this is equivalent fractions.